Kvare's kit. He's finally coming, and I've avoided doing a kit video on him for a long time, because frankly his kit is so confusing, especially with the quality of the translations at the time. But things are clearer now. Different resources have been added to clear things up a bit. So I've been studying, and finally I understand my wise stoic husbando. I'm Shrike, subscribe for more gacha content, let's dive in. His trait. HP and magic attack are increased by 3%. He gains an additional skill called Roster. The effect is instant. He inflicts roster and life loss equal to 30% of the character's magic attack on enemies without roster for 3 turns. Roster is a debuff at the start of the turn, inflicts 2 random debuffs on the target for 2 turns. When roster ends or the character is attacked and enters the dying state, Kvare immediately summons assassins to attack the character, dealing 100% of Kvare's magic attack as piercing damage. Then removes roster. This effect cannot be dispelled or immunized. Can be used up to 1 time per round. When removing roster from the target, increases the character's attack and defense by 5% up to 20%, lasting until the end of battle. Cannot be dispelled or immunized. At the end of the turn, casts the roster skill on the closest enemy without roster, within 5 tiles. First thing to note, build him with magic attack through the roof. Trust me, the damage from the assassins plus his life loss both scale off of it. So he basically puts a hit out on a character, and while they have it, they're weakened. And if they just so happen to enter the dying state while possessing it, bro summons assassins to complete the contract. And guess what? Synergy Bomb, Akambe's assassins would also follow up with their own attacks from Kvare's assassins. Both destruction units, both using assassins, pair them up with Tyr, oh my god, my mouth is already watering. And of course Momo, since Kvare's kit is very dot focused, as you'll see. And Sophia Alder to make them all attack again. Oh, we've only gotten to his trait and already the possibilities are endless. But moving on. His innate skill, Conviction. Piercing damage, deals 100% of magical attack as life loss, and inflicts movement down 2 and speed down 2 on the target for 2 turns. If the target has roster, dispel all their buffs before attacking, and additionally deals damage equal to 100% of the character's magic attack. The duration of life loss for this skill is reduced by 1 turn. So okay, this actually seems like a solid skill. Has the potential to attack twice, and its piercing damage, which is even better. The strip is great, and the 2 debuffs are just gravy. All for the ability he starts with. Love it. Rank 1 skills. Will of Victory. Support. Instant. Grants Potential Burst. We've seen that. Love that. To the target for 2 turns. After casting, the skill switches to Flaming Winds. Flaming Winds being a cross-shaped AoE blast of fire that inflicts 2 stacks of ignition, and then switches again to Fortune for All, which recovers all energy for 1 target. Oh yes, Akambe just got very excited. But then it switches again, and this is the same skill, Chill of the Ocean this time. 100% ice AoE damage to enemies within range and inflicts Frostbite. Switches to Golden Power, recovers all HP for a single target. And finally, Wrath of Thunder. Single target attack deals 180% damage, dispels all buffs on the target before attacking, and immediately triggers roster and all dot effects on the character before attacking. This guy is a god, a literal god. He is every character in your typical JRPG team. The healer, the heavy damage single target mage, the less powerful AoE mage, the battery unit. All with 1 ability. Okay, he's not the barbarian, but he's the rest of them. The catch is that you need to first use each move to get to the subsequent one, so he's going to shine in longer battles. The other option, yeah, what skill is going to attempt to follow that? Unforgettable Erosion, more like Forgettable Erosion. Passive. At the end of the turn, locks onto 1 random enemy within 3 tiles of the character, inflicting 2 random level 1 attribute debuffs, and life loss equal to 40% of magic attack for 2 turns. Oh no, that's a really good one too. Passively applies a really good dot, which will do even more damage with Momo nearby. Out of the two, we will go with Will of Victory, obviously, but I'm already tempted to Castalia II. Moving on though. Rank 3. Victory before battle. Passive. Each time one enemy with roster is defeated in battle, recovers 20% HP and 1 energy, and gains 2 random level 2 buffs for 2 turns. This is neat, but finally not a completely broken skill. What's the other option? Kvare's Gift. Healing? Okay. Heals the target for 40% of magic attack, okay, and causes the target to share 50% of the damage by the character. Single share does not exceed 70% of Kvare's max HP for 2 turns. Cannot be dispelled or immunized. If the target is an enemy, inflicts stunned for 1 turn. If the target is an ally, grants them attack up 2, damage up 2, and damage reduction 2 for 2 turns. This skill can only be used up to 1 time per battle. Oh my, the versatility here. Heal, super buff, and damage reduction on an ally, or just flat out stun on an enemy. I wonder if the healing will still apply to the enemy. If it does, the damage link should as well, and that could be really cool. Imagine a boss just absolutely nuking you, but you have that active, and he takes his own damage. Crazy stuff you could do with this ability. Okay, I'm sold. Kvare's Gift. Even though he's not a healer, he seems to have a very supporty kit so far. Rank 5. Entrapping. Reaction. When hit by an active attack, the damage taken is decreased by 8%, steals 2 random attribute debuffs from the target. Neat. Or Sanctuary Emblem. Reaction after being hit by an AoE attack, grants all allies within 2 tiles of the character a shield corresponding to the damage type. The shield value equal to 30% of the caster's HP, lasting for 2 turns. The shield of each type can be triggered up to 1 time per battle. When the character has a shield, damage taken is reduced by 10%. It's only AoE, but still seems better than Entrapping. I'd go with this one. Rank 7, Arcane Toxins. Magical damage. Single target attack, deals 100% damage before attacking, inflicts 3 random level 2 attribute debuffs on the target for 2 turns. Ooh, mean. Or Dark Withering. Magical damage, inflicts life loss equal to 50% of magic attack to all enemies within 2 tiles of the target, and inflicts no healing received, lasting for 2 turns. Oh yep, this one. Definitely. Other one's a trap. He's a dot character. This is the one you want. Rank 9, Infectious Attack. Basic attack. Deals 80% magical damage and inflicts 1 stack of infection on the target. What did I just say? What did I just tell you? This. Every day. This. All day. I could weep. The dot meta has finally arrived. Or the silencing attack we've seen before. Lame. Rank 11. This is the moment for Rain. Piercing damage. Deals 40% of magic attack as piercing damage to all enemies within 6 tiles of the character, triggering and removing all dot effects of the target. If the target has roster, additionally inflicts piercing vulnerability 2. No reaction skills, no passive skills, and isolate for 2 turns before attack. And triggers and removes roster on the target after attacking. This is his big one. Piercing vulnerability is huge. It doesn't just apply to attacks that are labeled piercing. This is dot vulnerability, since all dots are considered piercing damage, and Kvare so far is the only character to get this ability. This is the key that unlocks the dot meta. Plus it's a huge AoE dot in and of itself. And you don't need to choose between this and the next one either because they work together. Which yes, of course means you'd need to Castalia the other one, but if you're only going to Castalia one skill of his, this would probably be it. Wither. Passive. The skill, this is the moment for Rain, no longer triggers and removes dot effects, but increases damage by 100%. When actively dealing damage with a non-instant skill, additionally inflicts 60% of magic attack as life loss on the target for 1 turn. So not only does this apply an additional 60% dot to every non-instant attack you do, but it also doubles the damage that his Rain ultimate deals, but doesn't trigger and remove them, so they still proc on their own later. Okay, now comes the hard part, the loadout. Infectious Attack for the basic, Sanctuary Emblem for the reaction, then his Rain ultimate obviously, but then we only have 2 more. I'm thinking Dark Withering, but then Wither for less options but more powerful overall, Will of Victory for all those swapping skills to really widen his potential output variety? Or Conviction for a solid general use skill that synergizes very well with the rest of his kit? I think because I use auto, I won't want Will of Victory. Too many options. Considering Dark Withering has a 5-turn cooldown, and his Rain ability has a 3-turn one, I don't want to be forced into basic attacks too often. So I would go with Conviction, which has no cooldown and only costs 2 energy. And with so many ways to gain energy these days, it shouldn't be hard to keep him topped off. And this will give him a very solid general use ability, though I will admit the swapping ability does have a higher damage ceiling. It just requires a more hands-on, tactical, intentional approach. Okay, with all that being said, I'm gonna fly. I'm so pumped Kvare is finally coming. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.